Kenny, as you open this playoff run, what's your message to the group?
I don't know. There's no special message. I mean, we obviously have to scout and what we're doing and what we're focusing on. But there's no like new Rocky kind of speech at this point. Just prepare the best we can. We've kind of done our work since June, right? Like trust your work. We've been at it for a long time. Almost fully healthy, so we're just excited, excited to get going. I mean, we actually had a real practice today, like one of the assistants came up to me, he's like, man, that was different. I'm like, yeah, it was a real practice. Sneakers squeaking, competition, scrimmaging, so that was nice. And then we'll kind of taper down as these next 2 days come.
You guys were talking about the conditioning that they did yesterday.
Yeah.
What has gone into that?
Again, it wasn't just about yesterday. It was about June and July, and we've done a lot of things in the off season, obviously, off season and in season to be ready for the playoff intensity, physicality. And that's going to be a big part of this series. So. But yesterday I wanted to do that for team building too, right? Just sometimes when you do a circuit or whatever, and I think it had the desired effect, where you have to suffer a little and laugh a little and music and all that. So that was, that was pretty cool.
Kenny, Jalen Tyson said on Sunday he really wants to get this playoff run done for James because James has done everything in this league but win. When you hear that, the idea that James hasn't won, what do you think of that?
I don't think that's true. And the American way is championship or nothing, right? Like this, right? In our movies we call the little kid, hey champ, right? Like that's like the thing. And sure, we'd all love to win a championship, but there's doesn't mean you're not successful, right? Like, and what James has done, and he's gone far in the playoffs and had an incredible career. So I don't look at it that way. That he hasn't been.
Aside from adding James Harden and Keon and Dennis Schroeder, how do you think you're better prepared as a team for the playoffs?
We're a different team. It starts with personnel. It's not the same team as last year. We obviously the 3 guys you've added. So even thinking about this Toronto, our 3 games against Toronto, it's hard to even judge those games. And Toronto played great, and they beat us and all that, but we're a different team. I've said this, I'll say it over and over, we're a better team, with those additions. So you'd like to think that bodes well for a nice playoff run.
Comments on James, I'm with you. There are steps to success.
Yeah.
But what would it mean to you to help him stamp himself in that way with a championship?
Sure, that'd be phenomenal, right? But that's not the first thing I think of when I wake up, right? I think of like how can we help 15 guys, get to the next level? This organization, this group particularly, right? Our core 4, which James is a part of that now. How do we get them to the next level? That's really the main focus. But not thinking singularly in James and helping him do it.
At this point, have you decided on your 5th starter?
No, we haven't.
What are you still working through in terms of that?
Yeah, matchups. Again, I don't want to say something and we change because they have some, right? They have some guys maybe sure aren't going to play. So I don't want to give you something and then change later.
Did everybody practice today without limitation?
Everybody practiced today without limitation, with the exception of TB, Thomas Brown. And I think you guys saw, he was on the court. I just say surprisingly ahead of schedule, which which is good news for us. So we're getting to where we want to be, which would be fully healthy.
Knowing that you've been through this time of year several times before, whether it's here or other organizations,
Yeah.
look for from a group that let you know there's
Good question, Dan. I'd say just focus, engagement. Especially when you're in a film, how engaged are they? Are they? How focused are they? And then the last one is confident, right? Those are kind of the three things. I feel like this group is in that space right now. And the last thing, it's like any play. There's an excitement and a joy to this, right? We tried to get that going in practice today. Some fun shooting games. It can't be all like where we're going into this thing tense with a lot of tension. We gotta be physical and tough and all that, but we also our game has to flow. We have to free our minds and play Cavs basketball.
Evan and James credited their communication to how their on-court two-man game has developed.
How their on-court what?
Two-man game
Yeah.
has developed. How have you seen their communication off the court grow since the trade?
I think that's part of James's personality, right? He wants to play well. He wants the team to play well, and he knows those. Evan or JA are a big part of that. A big cog in that wheel. So, and he's, James is a teacher, man. He always has a slant and an idea how we can do things better. And not afraid, right? Some guys are, hey, I'm new here or whatever. He's very bold, extroverted, and talking with those guys. And it's a huge help, right? And those are things I don't even see all the time. Like, hey, they're going to send Don left. Can we flip the screen at this angle? Can we move the ball over to this side of the court so we got more space to take away their gaps? Stuff you kind of wouldn't think of. And I think he translates that message to the coaches and players. Extremely helpful.
Kenny, you've talked about the preparation going back to the summer for
Yeah.
this part of the season. Donovan has probably been in that boat maybe more than anybody with finding out that Darius and Max weren't going to be ready, having to change his perspective of how he was going to play throughout the season, and then now he's into playoff mode. How have you seen his preparation even jump a little bit higher when it comes to this postseason?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it started in the offseason. He definitely changed his regime and what he was working on, how he was working on his body, right? It's like what the great ones do. They kind of say, hey man, this is where I have to improve, and then they tweak and change what they need to do. So I think it started way back then. So it's kind of my message in the beginning with all these guys. There's like a plan, an off-season plan for all these guys, and no one takes ownership more than Donovan. I need to do this, and this. I'm willing. I have the discipline. I'm willing to make those sacrifices and those changes to better myself and better the team. So I think he's a really good place right now. Really good place. I think James has helped him meet that, because their communication is really good. Even after practice today, they had a 15-minute huddle up. Johnny was there and Trevor's there, and they're all talking about the nuances of the game. That's extremely helpful.
When it comes to the conversation of loving the game of basketball, there are a few players that might be in that category more than Donovan and James. To have them together, but also see how that kind of maybe pushes them to a different caliber when it comes to the postseason. What have you seen?
Yeah, that's like. There are just certain players in this league that they love it more. They're obsessed. There's love and obsession. Those two are in that group, right? There's very few of them to that degree. How obsessed they are with the game and the nuances of the game. It's different. I think it's part of what makes them great players. they watch every game. They know what's going on in the league. They know the trends. It's and like I said, they both know how to communicate with their teammates about it, right? Like they pull JA and they pull Evan and they pull those guys in to make sure we're on the same page. That all of them are great leaders.
You had a pretty good sense of James when you acquired him, but has there been anything just in 3 months that has surprised you, or something that's popped out that you didn't know that's stunned you?
The passing was better than I thought. I said this to someone the other day. How many ever minutes he's played with us. I think one time I said, man, that was turned to the assistant, like that wasn't a good shot, right? Like his shot selection. You think a guy's a top 10 scorer, and you're like, most top 10 scorers, they take bad shots. Like he doesn't take bad shots, like rarely, and that's extremely rare. So I was expecting, hey, I'm gonna have to live with some tough shots and terrible shots and all that. That's what scorers usually are like that. He's not like that. I think his shot selection is the other thing that surprised me. It's pretty much impeccable.
In 4 or 5 series, these are always the ones forecast to go 7, but how much just having a veteran group does it
Oh, it's a huge difference, because this is the way it works when you have a veteran group, right? It's it's kind of a shared responsibility. They know how to take ownership, right? And whatever we do, whatever strategy we use, rotations, all of it, they have ownership of it. And I think that's how you achieve the best kind of results or solutions to things. With a young group, they're pretty much like, tell us what to do and we'll do it, and there's a limit to that. Definitely gives me more confidence coming into a group like this with a ton of experience.
Kenny, you mentioned
This is
this
the
being
last
a
question.
different team, and it is.
Yeah.
But this organization, in terms of playoff success, just hasn't taken that step that it was hoping for. And you mentioned that even before the season. So coming into this playoff run, how much pressure do you feel there is on this group?
I don't know. I mean, this is what we signed up for. There's pressure and pressure in this job, pressure on coaches, pressure on players. I've always just been so locked into the process, and kind of doubling down on that. Just believe the results take care of itself, right? Like you're doing all these things. So sure, when the game comes and the crowd, sure, there's a ton of pressure, but it's also what you welcome. Like it's an exciting, like pressure is exciting. When you're at this level and when you're competing at this level, you're competing against, top teams in this league, like, man, it excites you. So sure, there's a pressure, but there's an excitement that goes with that. And like I said, that's the fun part of that, fun part of this business.
Okay, thanks.